Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm playing Seirawan chess, which introduces the elephant and the hawk. The elephant moves like a rook and a knight, and the hawk moves like a bishop and a knight. These pieces can be placed on the board when another piece moves for the first time. My goal is to win 5 games. Let's get started with game number 1. Okay, the biggest thing I learned from my first time playing this variant is that I have to keep an eye out for these suspicious pieces. As soon as one of these pieces lands on the board, from the very first time it presents itself, I have to keep an eye out for any moves that it can make. My opponent says hi, so I'll say hi back. Okay, we get pawn to d5. I'll go ahead and play my normal London system and take the opportunity to drop the hawk on the board. Since both of these pieces can move like knights, it doesn't really matter where I place them since they can always make their way somewhere else on the board later. So I'll just get them on the board sooner rather than later and wrap up my development as quickly as I can, since with these extra pieces, I'm sure we're in for a really dynamic game. Oh, that's so funny. My opponent is actually a viewer, so hi, if you're watching this in the future, good luck. We'll play e3 here. Normal London system. I mean, I'm staying very on brand with this, very comfortable. We get knight to c6, and my opponent places the hawk as well. I'm going to develop my knight and place my elephant. Okay, everybody's on the board now, so now I just have to track their movements with great care. So I'll play c3 for right now. My plan is to develop the bishop to d3, knight to d2, and in the perfect world, my opponent will castle kingside. Hopefully. We get pawn to h6, we'll continue developing. The reason I say that is because my elephant here works like a rook. So in theory, I'm in for a good attack here if my opponent castles short. Okay, g5 does not seem indicative of a kingside castle coming on the way. So I guess we'll just have to play for the center here. We get, whoa, knight to e4. Never mind, my opponent's playing for the center. Okay, let's play bishop to d3, put some pressure on the knight. Okay, the knight takes, I'll take back with the h-pawn, and now we've opened up a semi-open file for the rook, which is not really hitting a weakness right now, right? This is defended 3 different ways, so that pawn is just fine where it is, but it's worth keeping in mind that the rook is a little more active. Let's play knight to e5. I figure I need to clear some way for my pieces. Okay, we do get the capture, I'll take back, and there's ideas of queen to h5 now, which could be very, very good for me to play. Nice, okay, we get the hawk to c6, which invites queen to h5, check. King has to move, there's no more castling, so the attack is definitely going to be in the center now. Nice, king to e7. Okay, now how do I actually start developing my pieces? Let's play hawk to b3, with the idea of hawk to c5, which gives check again, and might actually force giving up the queen. So it seems necessary for my opponent to play b6 right now to stop that move. If my opponent doesn't see b6, I might be in for an extra queen after hawk to c5. Oh, my opponent does play b6. Oh, that always gives me chills because when you're calculating inside your head and somebody makes a move that makes a lot of sense, it's really not that crazy. It happens every day for millions of games. But when you're speaking out loud about one specific idea and your opponent finds it, oh, chills up my spine. It feels like they're listening. Anyways, we get pawn to b6. Let's go ahead and develop the elephant. No, I'll develop the knight instead. Reason being, I have 2 different ways this can go. Knight to d4, and my knight is definitely worth less than the eagle, so I'm happy with that trade. Reason number 2, the knight defends the pawn on e5. And reason number 3, which I've actually just noticed, is that the knight can take on g5, right? Knight can take on g5. If we get that recapture, oh wait, never mind. Knight can't take on g5. This is actually protected. Okay, thank goodness I'm actually paying attention to the suspicious pieces, right? So this suspicious piece actually defends the rook on h8, so that's not actually free. We've now offered this trade. Ooh, eagle to a4. Threatens the pawn on b2, so it seems like... Wait a minute, this moves like a bishop too. Haha! Suspicious pieces for the win. See? We actually like suspicious pieces. Not only that, but we're actually threatening knight to c6 check, which wins the queen. Okay, bishop to d7 actually covers that, but I could trade. Wow, my arrows are just... I amaze myself with how bad my arrows are. Let's play bishop to b5, forms a sort of battery on d7, and maybe we can even just trade as well. Whoa, okay. Elephant to g5 clearly hits the queen. Okay, is the elephant actually worth less than the queen? Because the elephant, what, moves like a rook and a knight? Definitely not. Well, okay, if the elephant moves like a knight and a rook, it has to be at least close to the value of the queen. Not to mention that after I take this, there's a free rook right behind it. So I can only imagine that I've won material in that trade. I can't imagine that that was worse for me. I must have won a couple of points there, maybe 3, 4. Somebody do the math for me. What do you guys think eagles and elephants are actually worth? Because clearly they're much stronger than bishops and knights, but relative to rooks and queens, I'm a little bit unclear. I'm not even sure what I think about that. Here I am, 20 moves deep into a game, unsure of what the pieces are worth. Okay, so there's ideas now of connecting my elephant with my rook. I'm going to move my knight out of the way, and I still have this check, not to mention the eagle can actually do the same function. Move to c6, give check like a knight, and win the queen. My opponent's down to almost 20 seconds, now 20 seconds. Okay, pawn to c5 does allow knight to c6. I'll do it with the knight instead of the eagle since the knight is worth less, and we pick up the queen. Nice, we pick up the queen, and is it still worth castling? Oh, it was actually double check, I just realized. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, okay, we get the resignation, nice. We win game number 1, and I think it came in really handy dandy to keep an eye out for those weird pieces, right? In the first episode that I played, I missed so many free pieces, both of my own and of my opponent, just because I wasn't paying attention to the weird pieces. But if I throw aside my instinct and I actually manually calculate everything, I think I'm in a good position. Let's move on to game number 2. All right, game number 2, FIDE Master. There's no way. Is that an actual title? Oh my goodness, this is an actual titled player. Okay, oh, this is so exciting. Okay, we'll play c6 because that's what I would normally play. Not to mention, this FIDE Master is not just a random FIDE Master appearing, trying out this variant. This is a FIDE Master rated 1900 in this variant. So we're definitely going to be put to the test on this one. We'll play d5. This is so exciting. I don't even know what to say. I was going to give you guys a little history about Seirawan chess, and I will anyways. It was created by Yasser Seirawan in an attempt to fix the very drawish nature of chess. And I think that's a great idea. Not to mention, I used to watch a lot of Yasser Seirawan's lectures. If you haven't seen them on the St. Louis Chess Club channel, highly recommend them. I love them. Okay, our opponent plays knight to c3 and drops the eagle on b1. I'm going to play... Oh, I'm so nervous now. It feels like everything goes out the window. Let's play knight to f6 and place our own eagle on g8. I figure, and it seems the FIDE Master agrees, I figure that the sooner you can drop these pieces, the better, since they can kind of organize themselves later anyways, since they move like so many different other pieces. Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, pawn to e4. I can't just take because it's defended, but it could just be a trade, which is honestly totally fine. It would centralize the eagle. Is that an issue? I don't think so. So I'll take on e4. I'll bite. Let's see what happens. Sure, let's get the trade. I will offer an eagle trade. That's fine by me. So let's offer that eagle trade. Okay, we do get the trade. Sure, I'll take back. And this is almost turning into like a sort of normalish game. We still have the elephants that need to be placed, and I assume there will be a lot of activity on this open file. But who knows? Maybe we're doing just fine. d4 might become a little bit of a weakness if it doesn't get pushed to d5. Okay, we get pawn to a3. Makes a lot of sense. My opponent doesn't want me to play check and then drop my elephant right behind it. But I don't need to play so aggressively. I will play bishop to e7, and I won't even place my elephant. I'm just looking to castle, and what I would like to play is bishop to f5, drop the elephant on c8, and then bishop g6. It can be a little bit of a defensive piece. So we'll play bishop to f5, drop the elephant on c8, and really I just want to castle now. I'm good on anything else too crazy. I just want to castle, and yeah, I think we're doing just fine here. My opponent has still not elected to drop the elephant. I think my opponent may be waiting to see how the game sort of develops. We get bishop to e2. I'll drop my bishop back just kind of prophylactically, since I probably will at some point anyways. It's free here, but it's protected here. Okay, we do get castles. This is almost normal. This is not actually all that crazy. I'm sure these will come into play soon, but nothing's happened yet. Let's go ahead and develop the knight to d7. I'd like to get the knight to b6 to hold back this pawn like we talked about earlier. My opponent's down to now 1 minute and 20 seconds. Okay, we get pawn to b4. Let's play knight to b6. I don't see why not. If we do get c5, the knight is beautifully placed on d5, and this bishop turns into a glorified pawn. So I highly doubt my opponent will play that, considering their FIDE Master status. This is probably not even a natural move for them. Okay, and finally, we get the elephant on the board. Queen comes to b3, we get elephant to d1, puts it on the same file as the queen, and what a coinkydink. Now, looking for d5 most likely. So, how do I actually tackle this? I might just want to move my queen out of the way, allow d5, and then play it from there, but it's a little bit uncomfortable. Opens the floodgates for the bishops. Let's see if we can't find some counterplay. Let's play a5 and see if we can find some sort of counterplay on this very strong opponent. Opponent now under 1 minute, 50 seconds. It is 3-2 though, so I'm making it sound scarier than it really is. You get 2 seconds back for every move, but 2 seconds is not a lot if you're munching up, 5 to 10 seconds every move. Although I do see this a lot in stronger players, even in my own personal normal games, where they tend to play very slow at the beginning because there's a lot of critical positions. You're making a lot of big decisions about where that game is going to go, and then later they tighten up the pace. All right, 30 seconds on the clock for my opponent. Opens up the bishop, but that is very well protected. D5, I can't just take. Takes, and then I lose because the elephant is looking at it right behind. Okay, I could capture and then play my own elephant to D6. My opponent captures, this is defended twice. I think that might be okay. I'll take, and then I'll play my own elephant to D6, putting a little bit of extra pressure on that pawn on D5. Opponent down to 20 seconds. Maybe I'm missing some crazy fast finisher tactic, but I think I'm doing just fine. There's no way I win this. There's no way. Okay, we get pawn to C5. Whoa, that's a weird move. What? Pawn to C5. Okay, it's hitting the knight, obviously. If I play knight to C4, there's this trade. Oh, there's no trade because I lose the... Whoa. That's aggressive. Okay, what about knight back? Queen or elephant takes. Wow, this is extremely uncomfortable. Okay, let's play A4. Intermediate move, buy ourselves a little bit of time to think. Knight to C4, I can't play because this is pinned. So I guess knight to D7 is forced. I lose this and it's pinned. I'll move my queen. Oh, I can't even move my queen out of the way. The elephant comes in. Wow. Tough. Okay, let's just play this because I really don't have too many other ideas. Let's play elephant to C7. I'm okay with a trade. Okay, we've traded off all the weird pieces. This is normal chess now. We're back to normal chess. And I just need to not lose on time. Let's play knight to E5. I'm just going to play natural moves. I like to play bullet as it is, so I should be okay. Let's take. Okay, let's play... I can't checkmate myself, so let's make space for my king to escape. Bishop to F4. I'd like to keep the pressure on the bishop, so let's play queen to F5. Queen to E3, sure, hits my own bishop. Let's play bishop. Bishop back is so passive. Let's play bishop back. I really don't have too many other choices. I'm low on time. Move the king up. Don't want any problems. Oh, this is so stressful. Rook to D8. I want to commentate so bad, but I have to focus. Oh no, I've been finessed. Oh, I even believe I was better as well. I've been finessed. Oh, I've been finessed. Oh, we get a draw. That was such a good game, though. Oh, I'm so happy with that. I do apologize that I wasn't able to commentate a little bit more on that. I do apologize. I will offer my opponent a rematch just to see if they're game for it. Wow, I'm actually shaking. I'm shaking a little bit because that was such a crazy game. I couldn't commentate at the end because I really had to summon all of my chess neurons to finish off that game. But wow, that was an incredible comeback. I haven't felt that much adrenaline playing chess in forever. But wow, that was amazing. I can't believe it. We got a draw against a FIDE master, albeit in a suspicious variant. But hey, he's a 1900 in this variant as well. Oh, that was so good. Okay, I'm gonna give myself a second to get my blood pressure back down, and then we'll move on to game number 3. Oh, I've just realized you guys haven't been able to see my name or the clock this entire time. I mean, you can see it in tiny, tiny letters on the top and at the bottom, but I'm so sorry. I do apologize for that. Anyways, let's move on to game number 3. Oh my goodness, look at this setup. All right, I do apologize that we're starting mid-game of game number 3, but I had to fix the board layout there for a second. Anyways, opponent drops the eagle. Let's play E3. I've now lost almost a minute fixing my OBS settings, but I think we'll be totally fine here, respectively, because my opponent is rated 1500 with a question mark. Go ahead and drop my elephant on G1, and if I can hold my own against a FIDE master, I think I'll be okay. We get pawn to E6. The only thing I do have to do, and it's what worked for me against the FIDE master, was keeping an eye out for the suspicious pieces. If I can just do that, I'm in for a good game. Bishop to d7, sure, I'll just continue my normal development. I think it's so funny how in the last game, we're playing a variant that was precisely engineered so that draws would be much less likely, and I did in fact get a draw when I was paired with a much stronger player. It seems like we've won a free pawn here on c4. And I do have to comment that even though it was a great game, I am very proud of the way I played that game. It doesn't count because it was a draw, so it's only worth half a point. If I get another draw, then sure, I'll add them up and I'll consider that one victory, but that is not a victory in and of itself. Go ahead and develop my elephant to e2. All right, we get queen to e7. Go ahead and centralize my knight and offer a trade for the eagle. I'd be more than happy, or rather the hawk. I don't know why I've called it the eagle. I meant the hawk. I'd be more than happy to trade off my knight for the hawk, because obviously the hawk has to be worth significantly more. Okay, hawk shuffles over to a5. Interesting. I'm not really sure what the future of it is. It can't attack along the diagonal, and these two knight movements are covered. So instead of overthinking it, I'll just castle, and we'll see where my opponent decides to castle. Okay, queenside castle means the attack is going to be on the queen side. We'll go ahead and start with b4 right away. Force the hawk to move somewhere where I can trade it off. Oh, I forgot. Moves like a bishop. Okay, hawk moves to b6. Still doesn't open up anything new, though, so we'll push a4 and push it out of even that square. My opponent still hasn't placed the elephant, and there's only two more pieces for my opponent to move. So if my opponent moves the bishop, could place the elephant. If my opponent moves the rook, they could also place the elephant there, but they're running a little bit low on their options. Let's go ahead and trade off the knight for the bishop. I'm sure it gives the hawk a way out of this kind of nasty situation. In fact, my opponent does move the hawk. Let's offer a trade. I'd be fine with trading the hawks because it would open up a file and walks me into that sort of queenside attack that I'm looking for. Okay, we do get that trade. I'll take with the b pawn. I'm more than happy. Nice, we'll line up the rook with the king. Not to mention the king has lined itself up with the bishop as well. There's ideas of c6, doubling up, making a battery with the queen and the rook, and we should be in pretty good shape here for a strong queenside attack. So queen b3 now hits the pawn. c6 is not possible because it's pinned to the king, and even c6 here is quite crushing, right? So I think c6 here just wins a rook, I believe. Oh no, it wouldn't win a rook because the rook can just move. No, it can't move because I take. Okay, yeah, c6 should be the final blow, right? Should the pawn capture, there's checkmate on b8. Okay, my opponent elects to shuffle the king out of the way, and I might not even capture. I might just take on b7 and force promotion. Yeah, let's do that. Let's take on b7. We're threatening promotion on the next turn, which would actually also be checkmate. King shuffles all the way over. Let's promote to... I could promote to an elephant. I quite like that. Let's promote to an elephant. We still give check. Let's move the elephant to c6 and hit the queen. We're gonna use these suspicious pieces. We're gonna put them to work in this game. Let's play c4 with the idea of opening up the center. Right, my king is castled. My king is safe, so I want to explode the center so I can use all of my pieces. Let them all flood through into my opponent's position. Okay, finally we get bishop to d6 and the development of the last elephant. Let's go ahead and trade. I don't see any downside to trading, so let's do a trade. And I am up materials, so it should be advantageous. We'll take on c7 with check, and we actually fork the queen, because remember, the elephant also moves like a knight. So we win the queen, which I'm not even sure that the queen is actually even worth as much as an elephant, but we're kind of just looking for simplification. So let's play e4, e5, break open the center, let everybody into the party, right? Even the elephant back here, right? He hasn't been doing too much. Why can't he have some fun? Let's play e5. We're threatening taking the f6 pawn with check. My opponent takes first, sure. I'll take on e5 with my pawn. These should be very, very strong. Ooh, free elephant. Nice, we give check. King has to move over. King to f8. Sure, we'll jump in with the queen. The elephant single-handedly holds down both of these squares, and we do get the resignation. As you can see, the formatting changed a little bit. It looks a little bit funky now. I don't know why chess.com would have a variant that changes format. Like if you look at the clock, it's like shuffled over too far. Same thing for the usernames. My profile picture was hidden. I don't really understand what the point of that is. Like, leave everything where it is. Anyways, that's a YouTuber complaint. We do win game number 2. We still have a draw under our belt, so I'll keep that in mind. Let's move on to game number 3. All right, game number 3, we get the black pieces. Somebody rated 1600 with the white pieces. So this should be, we should be in for a little bit more of a challenge. Let's play pawn to c6. We're still looking for relatively normal openings. I mean, this variant wasn't intended to be played totally differently, right? Let's play c5, hitting the d4 pawn. So far, this is actually mainlined in regular chess, just there's other pieces that can come into play. Let's play knight to c6 first, and then drop the eagle on b8. That way we double attack this pawn. The only way to defend it concretely is pawn to f4. Okay, we actually do get pawn to f4. Let's play e6, looking for bishop takes c5. Okay, we get bishop to e3, and the eagle gets developed to c1. Interesting. Let's play knight to e7 and bring the elephant into the game. And this is kind of a closed position, right? We have this little net of pawns in the middle, which makes it hard for pieces to traverse. So you could consider that a bit of a closed center. So I'm going to use my knights as much as possible to bother my opponent's pieces. Okay, bishop does in fact move backwards. Let's play the eagle to d7 with the idea of doubling down on this c5 pawn. Can't be defended with b4 because we have that square under control. So it'll be interesting to see how my opponent decides to defend this. Okay, ignores it altogether. Bishop to b5. Threatens the knight, but not much else. So we'll take on c5. Nice, and we get the capture. We'll recapture with the eagle. And after this last trade, it's unclear how my opponent is actually going to castle now. Okay, by removing my eagle with their own eagle. I guess that makes plenty of sense. Do I actually want to trade eagles right now? No, probably not. I'm going to move my eagle to e3, so it still cuts off the castling, and we're hitting the queen, and we're hitting the pawn on c2. Although I guess the pawn on c2 is defended by the other eagle, so not so much that. my opponent comments in the chat, same rating. That's pretty funny. Yeah, because we do have the same rating to a T, actually, which is mildly amusing. We get queen to e2. Let's go ahead and keep developing. So I'll play elephant to e7. Whoa, pawn to g4, super aggressive. Okay, I definitely can take that though, right? Yeah, I'm going to take the pawn on g4 with my eagle. And I think that's just a free pawn. Okay, rook comes over to g1. I'm just going to move, well, if I move my eagle back, there's this. It removes the defender of the bishop, and then I lose, or rather the eagle, and then I lose the eagle. Let's play h5. h5 to try to cement the eagle on, or rather the hawk. Oh my goodness, what game variant did I play that I cemented in my brain that it's eagle? Because I've been calling it the eagle on and off whenever I go into like calculation mode, and I mean to say the hawk every single time. Anyways, we get knight to d2. I'm not particularly excited about castling this way with the rook staring down the barrel, basically, but I can play other stuff, like... Well, like what? Interesting. Okay, let's play the eagle back to e3. The hawk back to e3. I don't know what variant I could have possibly played to throw me off balance so badly, but it must have been something. I'm gonna have to go through and see what happened. The hawk to e3. I'm getting my wires crossed. That's so funny. Anyways, hawk to e3 with the idea that maybe we're hitting the rook, although I don't believe that the rook is worth as much as the hawk, so it's not really a fair trade. Okay, we get knight to f1, booting the eagle effectively because I don't want to leave my eagle there. So let's push it back to b1. It's still looking at the rook, so this knight still can't move, but it's not concretely threatening it at the moment either. Okay, whoa, first time that I've seen somebody castle and then drop a piece, but very interesting. Okay, we definitely have opposite ideas. My opponent's probably waiting for me to castle to, drop bombs on this side of the board, but I will do no such thing. Let's play on the queen side, but how? Let's start with knight to d4 and get this trade on the board. Right, because we remove the defender of the g1 rook, and we centralize our hawk and hit the queen. So it's unclear how my opponent gets both of those. Oh, queen to g2, right, defends, threatens g7, scary stuff. Let's play rook to g8. That's it, full commit, we're leaving the king in the center. Hawk takes. Okay, I see your aggressive move, and I meet you with another aggressive move. I have no idea if it works, but I know it's aggressive for certain. If the hawk takes on g8, I could take back, but first I'll play check, right? It's defended by my hawk, king moves into the center, and then I'd recapture. So it'd be a hawk for a rook, basically, which seems to be in my favor anyways. Oh, we get the resignation! Oh, nice! I think my opponent overestimated what I had going on. I don't think this is all that crushing. Maybe there was b3 here? But anyways, we do win game number 3. Let's go ahead and move on to game number 4. All right, game number 4. We get the black pieces. We're paired against another 1600. Caragon hasn't failed me yet, so I have no reason to believe it'll fail me now. Although I'll admit playing that kind of closed position was a little more uncomfortable than I really liked. Let's play knight to f6 and drop an elephant on g8. Right, so if we get this trade, we can also develop the elephant, and I think we're looking good. Wow, did you see that epic miss? I meant to draw this. Okay, we get bishop to d3. I'm going to take the knight on e4 and then move my elephant to f6, right? I'm hitting the bishop, which is free, and I can also support other developing moves like bishop to g4, hitting the queen, all of that supported by my elephant. Okay, queen to e2 clearly defends the bishop. My opponent drops the hawk, not the eagle, the hawk on d1. Is this free? Yes, I think it is free, so I'll take it. And I can drop my eagle on d8. Normally, I don't like to develop my queen that early because boom, right away I'm targeted. That didn't take very long. Maybe I want to lose that though. Is a queen worth less than a me trying to decide what it's called than a hawk? Is my queen worth less than a hawk? I don't think it is. So I'm going to move my queen back to b6. And I say that with great doubt. I really don't know. Okay, hawk trades for the elephant. I guess that's fine. I have to take with this pawn, however. If I had taken with this pawn, there's discovered attack ideas, which is kind of scary. Opponent plays knight to f3. Definitely not castling here, so I might as well play rook to g8 and target the g2 pawn. Ooh, pawn to b3. Can I take? Ugh, do I bite the bullet again? Do I play another risky move that already didn't pay off the first time? Yes. The answer is yes. Was it a good decision? That's a completely different question, right? It wasn't the question I asked. The question I asked was, am I going to play it? And I did indeed. Okay, bishop to e3. My queen is still getting harassed for having developed so early. We'll try to drop. Oh no, queen to b5 was a misclick. Oh, thank goodness it doesn't blunder anything. I meant to say we're going to play queen to a5 with check. Oh my goodness, queen to b5 was a misclick. I don't even want this trade. It doubles my pawns. Oh, my opponent doesn't seem to want it either. Okay, we get pawn to c4. Finally, we can play the intended check. Okay, knight goes back, but now the knight is pinned, right? The knight is pinned. What it does do is unleash the bishop on the rook. And I am not in the business of losing material. So, well, sometimes I am if you've seen some of my more questionable games. But for now, we'll play rook back to g8. We are dropping this pawn, which isn't great. Wow, that rhymed. But it should be fine anyways. Rook shuffles over and then defends itself with the elephant. I'm happy with that trade, sure. And it leaves the tempo on my side. But what can I actually do with that newfound tempo? Let's play bishop to f5. Maybe we can get this trade. I don't love that my king is still in the center with no clear vision on how to castle. So maybe trades are in my favor. Okay, we do get that trade. It is my opponent's turn now. Tempo back on his side. Okay, elephant to g3 obviously hits my queen. Let's play queen to e5. Targeting the rook and maybe lining up for a queen trade. Okay, my opponent plays rook to d1. I'm going to develop my eagle since it seems my opponent is fast set on keeping the king in the center, which, okay, king moves over to f1. Maybe it'll be like a slow and controlled castle kind of situation. Let's play knight to d7. I, for one, would like to castle. Okay, knight to f3 targets my queen. Do I lean further into a position that hasn't treated me very nicely? Or do I just retreat? I'm finally going to play a decent move and actually retreat my queen. I would like to actually survive to tell the tale of this game, so let's leave the queen on c7. I'd rather not lose her as well. Okay, we get elephant to g4. I'm going to go ahead and castle long. And I was actually thinking it over. This hawk is actually very badly placed, right? In terms of moving like an elephant, or in terms of moving like a knight, it really doesn't have any options. But in terms of moving like a bishop, it still has some chances of escaping. Okay, bishop to f4. I'm definitely meeting that with e5, counterattacking the bishop. Okay, bishop moves right back. Let's play bishop to c5. We can get this trade. We can get that trade. The queen takes back. We defend f6, which is under attack by the elephant, and I think we're fine. Sure, we'll take back. Nice. Okay, I love it when the game plays out exactly the way that I dictated with my arrows. It makes me feel like I'm having a Hikaru moment. Although Hikaru probably would have calculated, at least a dozen more moves. But, one can dream. Okay, queen to b2. Overall, I would assess that my opponent is better here than I am, because this is a knight plus a rook, and this is a knight plus a bishop. So I assume this one has to be better. Let's play knight to d3. Activating this knight, oh my goodness, the arrows. Activating this knight and hitting the queen. And I need to find somewhere for this eagle to go. Maybe just back to b6 and targeting f2 is fine. I'm going to go with that for now. It also defends this a7 pawn, and maybe it has some future hitting f2, although it is defended right now by the elephant. Okay, pawn to b4. Doesn't seem to create any new threats. How about this? Let's try knight to f4. Knight to f4 because it covers the 2 escape squares that the king has, and now we jump in with queen to d1 check. I know that my hawk is under fire right now. We get knight back. I believe I can just take. My opponent takes. Is there actual checkmate there, though? Oh, wait, I can just play check with the queen. And then king to g1 is forced, and then that's mate, isn't it? Nice! Oh, that was so good. I'm actually really happy with that game. I would argue that that game is a little bit of a comeback. Okay, we win game number 4. We still have that draw under our belt. Let's go ahead and move on to game number 5. Okay, we get a rematch with our opponent, but we get the white pieces this time. I'm going to do my best not to lose material from the get-go on this one. We get g6, which is kind of like, not kind of like, it is a fianchetto. We'll develop the bishop and drop the eagle at the same time. I mean, this eagle could even facilitate a bishop to h6 move in the future. Okay, bishop to g7, sure, we'll develop and drop the elephant as well. Everybody's on the board, and now I just need to make use of them. Let's play, okay, double fianchetto kind of clears the way for me to just hit the center, so I will accept that offer. I will take over the center. And I have more pieces now to back it up as well. Although you could argue my opponent has more pieces to target my center as well. Okay, knight to f6. Let's play queen to e2. I still have my hopes up to play bishop to h6 and kind of win with a fantastical kingside attack. Let's play knight to c3. Ah, and we do get the castle, and then the elephant drops on e8. Let's go ahead and offer that trade right away. And I'm looking for like h4, elephant to h3, push, open up a file, and just anything I need to do to open up that king side. Okay, nice. We get knight to d7, so this trade is fine. Ooh, king captures, really interesting. h4, let's go for it. Probably shouldn't leave my king in the center, but it would cost me 2 extra tempo, right? I'd have to develop the hawk and castle long. Okay, close the center. Whenever you're trying to do an attack on the flank, you don't want the chessboard to get messy. And by messy, I mean pieces flying through from one side of the board to the other. So how do you stop that? You close up the center, right? So all of these pieces are now going to have somewhat of a hard time getting over to the defense of the king side. Is h5 premature? Takes, and then what do? Wonder why I played that mostly. Okay, let's play the hawk to e3 with the idea of playing g4 and then h5, right? The hawk would defend the g4 pawn from that knight. Okay, knight to c5 targets the bishop, but if I recapture, that pawn basically does the same thing the bishop was doing of defending e4. So g4, we send the pawns forward, and we look for that attack. Okay, takes, I take back, sure. It's probably in my opponent's best interest to play like c6 and try to bust open the center as soon as... Whoa, c6! Oh, I'm getting chills. My moves are getting predicted a little too often. C6 does in fact try to open up the center. Let's play h5. I'm trying to open up the king side. It's basically like a race. Who's going to get their attack going first? And I believe that my center is well defended enough that I don't have too much to worry about. Okay, knight to g8. It seems my opponent is playing into my plan a little bit. Let's take, or at least playing on the side of the board that I want to play on. Let's double my elephant and my rook, looking for h7. And actually, would that be checkmate? Yeah, actually, that would be checkmate because we cover f6. That's so insane. These pieces are so incredibly powerful. I mean, no wonder games are less likely to end in a draw when these pieces are present. I mean, how would it end in a draw? Okay, king moves back. Let's play the eagle to g5. Reason being, we're hitting the queen, but we're actually also doubling down on this pawn. Right, so now we have 3 attackers, and should my opponent even sacrifice the queen, I can take back. Ooh, queen to g7, is that it? I think I just take, and then I take back with the rook, and we have checkmate. Nice! Okay, nice. We win game number 5. And you could argue that we finished this with 5.5 points, right? I'm still counting that game against the FIDE Master. I'm personally most proud of that game out of all of the games that I played, but we do get the other 5 victories as well. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know down below if you particularly enjoyed this variant or if there's any other variants that you guys would like to see, and I will see you guys in the next one.